Take charge of your life. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Let us move forward with strong and active faith. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The Great Truth. You can learn anything you need to learn to accomplish any goal you can set for yourself. This principle offers a way for you to take complete control over your future. When I was young and struggling, failing, and frustrated, this principle came along to change my life. Generally speaking, no one is smarter than you and no one is better than you. Just because someone is doing better than you doesn't mean that he is better than you. It usually means that he has just learned how to succeed in his particular field before you have. And whatever someone else has done, you can probably do as well. There are few limits. This is not an easy rule, but it is simple. You too can learn anything you need to learn to accomplish any goal you can set for yourself. Once I learned this idea, I was unafraid to change jobs and even industries. I learned how to sell advertising, investments, automobiles, and office supplies. I worked in real estate sales and leasing, and then real estate development. Then I engaged in importation and distribution, then banking, printing, consulting, and eventually speaking, writing, recording, and corporate training. Learn what you need. Every time I entered into a new field, I went out and learned everything I possibly could about that field, and then applied it as fast as I could. At first, I checked out the books from the local library. Then, I bought my books and built my library. I listened to every audio cassette I could buy on the subject and attended seminars. When I was 31, I studied and prepared myself, and then took the entrance exams to get into a major university. I invested several thousand hours of study to get a business degree. I learned the intricacies of micro and macroeconomic theory, statistics, probability theory, management science, and accounting. I studied marketing, management, administration, and strategic planning. I became devoted to the concept of learning. The great mystery. I thought I had come late to the party, that everyone knew that learning was the key to the future. I was amazed and perplexed to find, when I looked around me, that very few other people were doing what I was doing. Most people, by their admission, were living lives of quiet desperation, in Thoreau's words. They were working at jobs they didn't like, earning salaries far below their potential, staying in relationships they didn't enjoy, and living lives that gave them no satisfaction. I tried to tell them that the way out was up. I told anyone who would listen that they could learn anything they needed to learn to achieve any goal they could set for themselves. There were no limits, but few people seemed to be listening. Reasons for everything. We live in an orderly universe. Everything happens for a reason. When I found that the people around me didn't seem to be interested in changing their situations, I began looking for the reasons underlying their behaviors. And I found them. Psychologists and scholars have spent many years researching the psychology of success and the psychology of failure. And most of the studies conclude that two major mental blocks hold people back. The first is what Dr. Martin Seligman of the University of Pennsylvania, in his book Learned Optimism, Konoff, 1990, calls learned helplessness. According to his research, this attitude afflicts fully 80% of the population to some degree, and for many people, it is their major obstacle to success and fulfillment. Feeling trapped. As the result of childhood experiences, especially destructive criticism and early failure experiences, people eventually reach the point where they feel helpless to change or to take action in different areas of their lives. The majority of men and women feel overwhelmed by things that seem to happen to them and the many things going on around them. They feel that there is nothing they can do to influence events or to improve their lives. The most obvious proof that an individual is experiencing learned helplessness is the repeated use of the words, "I can't." People feel that they can't lose weight, can't get a better job, can't improve or change their relationships, can't increase their incomes, can't upgrade their knowledge and skills, and can't do many other things that they want to do. They have tried unsuccessfully so many times in the past that they have come to conclude automatically that there is very little they can do to change the future. They become passive and accepting of their situations. Their lives consist of getting up in the morning, going to work, socializing a bit, coming home, eating dinner, watching television for 4 or 5 hours, and then going off to bed. The trap of complacency. The second mental condition that holds people back is called the Wayne comfort zone. Human beings are creatures of habit. They begin an activity of any kind and they soon become comfortable with it. They then become extremely reluctant to change what they are doing or change the situation they are in, even if they are not particularly happy or satisfied with it. They become somewhat content and complacent. Eventually, they become afraid to change for any reason. They get into a rut, and the longer they stay in their rut, the deeper it grows until they finally give up all hope of ever changing or improving their lives. Learned helplessness, in combination with the comfort zone, creates a person who feels trapped and helpless, weak and powerless, and unable to take control or make any real difference in his life. The individual in this mental state then strives for security rather than opportunity and often feels like a victim of circumstances over which he has no control. No real limits. But the reality is that there are no real limits on what you can accomplish with your life. Within reason, whatever someone else has done, you can do as well. The very fact that you can set a clear goal for yourself means that you probably can achieve it. Nature does not give you a burning desire for something without also equipping you with the talents and abilities you need to acquire it. If you think back over your life, you will recall that almost everything that you ever really wanted long enough and hard enough, you finally achieved. You are not helpless and you are not stuck in a rut. Your true potential is limited only by your imagination and determination. Our biggest enemies. The two factors that contribute most to the feeling of helplessness in the comfort zone are fear and ignorance. Fear is and always has been your greatest enemy. Fear and self-doubt do more to hold you back from dreaming big dreams and accomplishing great things than any other factors. It seems that the less you know about a subject, the more fearful you are of trying something new or different in that area. Your ignorance makes you reluctant to reach out for something better than what you are doing today. Fear and ignorance reinforce each other, growing until they induce in you a form of mental paralysis that leads inevitably to underachievement and failure. 8. Here is a wonderful discovery. Aggressively learning about any subject builds your confidence and diminishes your fear in that area. As your knowledge or skill increases, you soon reach the point where you are ready to take action and make changes. But if you are completely ignorant in a particular area, if you have not read or learned anything about a subject, it will seem too difficult and may even appear overwhelming to you. Your lack of knowledge will make you afraid to take the actions necessary to improve your life in that area. Neutralizing your fears. The antidotes to fear and ignorance are desire and knowledge. The only real limitation on what you can accomplish is the level of intensity of your desire. If you want something badly enough, there are almost no limits on what you can achieve. And the more you learn about any subject, the greater will be your desire to accomplish something in that area. As your knowledge grows, you become more confident in taking the necessary steps to make your goals a reality. As you increase your levels of desire and knowledge, you decrease the self-limiting effects of fear and ignorance, and their companions, learned helplessness, and the comfort zone. With desire and knowledge, you eventually replace fear and ignorance with courage and confidence. The more you learn about anything important to you, the more courage you will have to attempt to achieve it, and the more confident you will be that you can eventually succeed. As Henry Ford once said, if you believe you can do a thing, or you believe you cannot, In either case, you are probably right. You are responsible. My first big breakthrough in life came when I discovered that I could learn anything I needed to learn to achieve any goal I could set for myself. My second breakthrough was when I realized that I was completely responsible for myself and everything that happened to me. No one was going to do anything for me. If I wanted something, it was completely up to me to do whatever was necessary to get it. If I had a problem or limitation, it was up to me to solve it or overcome it. I was on my own. The acceptance of personal responsibility for your life is the giant step from childhood to maturity. Before that decision, people criticize, complain, and blame others for their problems. After that decision, they see themselves as the primary creative force in their own lives. Before you take total responsibility for your life, you see yourself as a victim. Afterward, you see yourself as a victor. All causation is mental. My third breakthrough came when I learned that all causation is mental. Everything you create in your material world begins with a thought of some kind. If you want to change something on the outside, you have to begin by changing it first on the inside. You have to change your thinking if you want to change your life. This is the greatest discovery of all. You create your world with the continuous stream of thoughts, feelings, and images passing through your mind. You control and determine your future by the thoughts you have in the present. Nothing around you has any meaning except for the meaning you give it by the thoughts and emotions you attach to it. As Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. The law of belief. Remember, whatever you believe, with feeling, becomes your reality. The greater the intensity of your belief, the more emotion you combine with it, the greater the impact it has on your behavior and on everything that happens to you. If you believe that you are destined to be a great success, and you hold to this belief no matter what happens, then there is nothing in the world that can stop you from becoming that great success. If you believe that you are a good person with tremendous abilities, and that you are going to do remarkable things with your life, that belief will express itself through all of your actions and will eventually become your reality. The biggest responsibility you have to yourself is to change your beliefs on the inside so that they are consistent with the realities you wish to enjoy on the outside. You can always tell what your beliefs are by looking at what you do. You always express your true values in your actions. You always act on the outside consistent with who you are and what you believe on the inside. One of the best ways to determine your true beliefs is to think about how you behave when you are angry, upset, or under pressure of any kind. This is when they come out. As Terence wrote, circumstances do not make the man, they only reveal him to himself and to others. By using the law of reversibility, you can develop within yourself the values, beliefs, and qualities you most admire by acting as if you already have them whenever they are called for by the circumstances of your life. To develop courage, force yourself to act courageously, even when you are afraid. To develop integrity, speak and act with complete honesty, even if you feel like shading the truth or cutting corners. Soon your beliefs will mirror your acts, and your acts will mirror your beliefs. The law of expectations. The law of expectations says that whatever you expect with confidence becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. You are continually telling your fortune when you talk about how you think things are going to turn out in a particular area. Your expectations then determine your attitude, and your attitude causes people to behave toward you in a way that reflects what you are thinking inside. If you expect to be successful, you will eventually be successful. If you expect to be happy and popular, you will be happy and popular. If you expect to be healthy and prosperous, admired and respected by the people around you, that is what will happen. You can tell your true expectations by listening to the words you use to describe an upcoming event. Always think and talk positively about the future. Start every morning by saying, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today. Then, throughout the day, expect the best. Be open and alert to the possibility that each thing that happens, positive or negative, contains something good. You will be amazed at the effect this approach to life has on your attitude and on the way you are treated by the people around you. Positive self-expectancy. Successful, happy people continually maintain an attitude of positive self-expectancy. They expect to be successful in advance, and they are seldom disappointed. They expect to make more sales than they lose. They expect to learn something valuable from every experience. They expect to eventually achieve their goals, and they remain open to the possibility that those goals may be achieved in a way that they didn't expect. The very best way to predict the future is to create it, and you create your future by the way you approach everything that happens to you today, either positively or negatively. If you approach each situation confidently expecting to learn from it or gain from it, you will continue to grow and progress and move toward your goals. You will also be a happier, more optimistic person that other people will want to be around and to help. The law of attraction. The law of attraction is considered by many people to be the most important law of all in explaining both success and failure. This law says that you're a living magnet and that you inevitably attract the people and circumstances into your life that harmonize with your dominant thoughts, especially those thoughts that you emotionalize strongly. By this law or natural force, the more you think about something you want, the more excited you will become about achieving it. The more excited or convinced you are, the more you will attract that goal into your life like a magnet attracts iron filings. Your thoughts will create a force field of energy that will attract the people, circumstances, ideas, opportunities, and resources that you need to achieve your goals. When you change your thinking about yourself and your possibilities, you will attract into your life the forces necessary to turn those big thoughts and ideas into real-life experiences. The law of correspondence. This law says that your outer world corresponds to your inner world and that what you experience on the outside is a reflection of your inner world. Whatever you see when you look around you, you see something in yourself. Wherever you go, there you are. Your outer world of wealth, work, relationships, and health will mirror back to you the pictures and images that are going on inside you. Nothing can permanently stay in your life unless it corresponds with something within you. To have happier relationships, you must become a more loving person, not in thought alone, but genuinely in your heart. As you become a more loving person on the inside, your outer world of relationships will change, and sometimes immediately. To become more financially prosperous on the outside, you must become more prosperous on the inside. To be healthier and fitter in your body, you must think like a healthy and fit person in your mind. In 1905, Dr. William James of Harvard said, "The greatest revolution of my generation is the discovery that individuals, by changing their inner attitudes of mind, can change the outer aspects of their lives." Take charge of your life. There is only one thing over which you have complete control, and that is the content of your mind. Only you can decide what you are going to think and how you are going to think about it. This power, this control, is all you need to create a wonderful life for yourself. Your ability to steer your thoughts toward a destination of your choosing is sufficient to enable you to overcome all obstacles and make up for all limitations on your road to success. The laws of belief, expectations, attraction, and correspondence, used consciously and deliberately, are the keys to accomplishing wonderful things in your life. When you begin to change your thinking about your goals and possibilities, your beliefs and actions will change. You will find yourself doing more and more of the things you need to do to make your dreams come true. You will continually expect good things to happen to you, and you will seldom be disappointed. You will begin attracting all kinds of wonderful people and opportunities into your life. Your whole world will begin to correspond on the outside with the wonderful goals and pictures that you are creating on the inside. Successful and happy people have a generally positive mental attitude. Prosperous and wealthy people have a prosperous and wealthy mindset. Kind, patient, gentle, loving people who enjoy happy and fulfilling relationships with their families and friends have kind, patient, loving ways of thinking. When you develop the same mindset that other successful people have, you will soon enjoy the same results and experiences that they do. Start where you are. You may think that you lack the education, opportunities, or resources that other successful people seem to have. Don't worry, the fact is that most people start with few advantages. The story of most successful people is the story of people who started with nothing and did something worthwhile with their lives. I used to feel sorry for myself because I entered my 20s with no money and a limited education. Then I learned that most people start with little or no money. If they do get a good education, most of it turns out to be largely useless in the real world once they get out of school. Then I felt sorry for myself because I had no natural talents to help me, and I couldn't find a good job. I soon learned that most people start in the same boat. Most people try and fail at a lot of things before they find the right situation for their talents and abilities. The fact is that everything you ever achieve, you are going to have to do yourself. No one is going to do it for you. But if you keep learning and growing, trying lots of things, you will eventually get the breaks. Everyone does. Just remember that opportunities are like a fumble in a football game. If you don't personally pick up the ball and run with it, it just lies there and does not affect the score. When you get your chance, take action on it immediately. It's a wonderful world. We are living in a wonderful world today, probably the best period in all of human history. You are surrounded by more opportunities and possibilities to achieve your dreams than have ever existed before. There are no limits to what you can accomplish except for the limits that you put on yourself with your thinking. The feeling of learned helplessness and the lure of the comfort zone are the two major mental obstacles to changing your thinking, dreaming big dreams, and setting big goals for yourself. The way to overcome fear and ignorance is with desire and knowledge. The two qualities that flow out of intense desire and increased knowledge are the courage and the confidence you need to do whatever is necessary to achieve anything you want. You translate your dreams into concrete realities by turning them into goals. You decide exactly what you want, write it down, set a deadline, and determine the efforts you are going to have to make to achieve it. Make written plans of action to achieve your goal, and then do something every day to move toward it. Resolve in advance that you will never, ever give up. Make progress, not excuses. Mark Twain once wrote, "There are 1,000 excuses for failure, but never a good reason." When I stopped making excuses, I started making progress. When I stopped blaming other people and feeling sorry for myself, I began thinking about specific actions I could take to improve my situation. When I began to set goals and make plans for their accomplishment, I felt in control of my life and my future. When I began learning what I needed to know to achieve my goals, I felt more confident and competent in other parts of my life as well. And as I began achieving my goals one by one, just as you will achieve yours, my thinking changed completely. Dear Warren, changing your life. Success is an inside job. It is a state of mind. It begins within you and is soon reflected in the world around you. When you change your thinking for the better, you become a better person. By dreaming big dreams and envisioning an exciting future, you become a leader. By writing down your goals and making plans to accomplish them, you take full control of your life. And by practicing the ideas taught in this book, you can and will become unstoppable. Action exercises. Resolve today to accept 100% responsibility for everything you are or will ever be. Instead of making excuses, decide to make progress. Identify one area where you use the words "I can't" when you think of the need to change or do something different. Now imagine that your limitations in that area are all in your mind. In what parts of your life have you become comfortable, so much so that you resist change, even if it would be an improvement? What could you do to get out of this comfort zone? Identify one area where fear and doubt are holding you back from doing something that you want to do. Imagine that you were guaranteed success in that area. What would you do differently? What are your favorite excuses for not making the decisions or taking the actions you need to if you want to achieve all your goals? What if your excuses were not true? Desire and knowledge are the antidotes to fear and doubt. What could you do immediately to increase your knowledge in an area where you want to take action? Identify one key area of your life that you have created with your thinking. How could you change your thinking in that area to be more successful? Commit to excellence or norm. The quality of a person's life will be determined by the depth of their commitment to excellence, no matter what their chosen field. Vince Lombardi. The starting point of great accomplishment is for you to break loose from the mental bonds that hold you back. Dreaming big dreams and setting big goals provide the starting point for thinking, seeing, and feeling yourself to be capable of achieving far more than you ever have before. How you think and feel about yourself is largely determined by how effective you feel you are in the important things you do, especially in your work or career. It is not possible for you to feel happy and confident as a person if you are not competent in the areas of your life that are central to your identity. One of the most powerful ways for you to change your thinking about yourself is for you to commit to excellence. It is to make the decision right now to be the best, to join the top 10% in your field, no matter how long it takes. The very act of thinking of yourself as potentially excellent at what you do changes your mindset and improves your personality. It makes you happier and raises your self-esteem. You like and respect yourself more just by deciding to be the best. The market pays superior rewards only for superior performance. It pays average rewards for average performance and below average rewards, unemployment, and bankruptcy for below average performance. Today, the race is on in every area. Your competitors are more capable and determined than they have ever been before and will grow even more so next year and the year after and for the rest of your career. You have to run faster just to stay in the same place. The good old days. At one time, you had to be excellent to rise to the top of your field or market. Today, however, excellence is taken for granted. Today, you have to be excellent just to get into the market in the first place. Then you have to constantly improve, getting better and better, week by week and month by month, if you want to keep up with the competition. In every field, the top 20% of companies make 80% of the profits in that business or industry. The top 20% of salespeople make 80% of the sales and 80% of the income. The top 20% in every field enjoy most of the great rewards of money, pride, satisfaction, and reputation that go along with being the best at what they do. Your job is to join them as quickly as possible. The control valve on performance. Perhaps the most important quality of high-achieving men and women is that of ambition. They see themselves, think about themselves, and conduct themselves every day as though they were among the elite in their fields. They set high goals for themselves and continually work to exceed those goals. For them, quotas are minimums, not maximums. They look upon the accomplishments of everyone else as challenges to themselves to be even better. And so must you. The core of your personality is your level of self-esteem. Your self-esteem is a measure of how much you value yourself and how much you think of yourself as an important and worthwhile person. Your self-esteem is the power source of your personality. It determines your levels of energy, enthusiasm, motivation, inspiration, and drive. The more you like and respect yourself, the better you do at everything you attempt, and the better you do, the more you like and respect yourself. Self-esteem and personal excellence reinforce each other. The better you do. Self-esteem and self-efficacy are flip sides of the same coin of personality. You can genuinely like and respect yourself only when you know, deep in your heart, that you are good at what you do. A sense of personal mastery is essential to a healthy human personality. Every single thing that you do excellently boosts your self-esteem and makes you feel better about yourself. It makes you feel even more confident of performing at even higher levels. Achieving your full potential requires high levels of courage and confidence. Great success requires a continual willingness to move out of your comfort zone and to break the bonds of learned helplessness that hold most people back. The higher your self-esteem, the more powerful, positive, and determined you will become. The more you like yourself, the more willing you will be to take chances, step out in faith, and persist longer than anyone else. The better you become in your chosen field, the stronger and more confident you will become in every other part of your life as well. The absolute prerequisite. The fact is that it is impossible for you to be truly happy or successful until you know in your heart that you are very, very good at what you do. For this reason alone, you must resolve to overcome any obstacle, pay any price, and go any distance to achieve this level of excellence. You must set a goal to be among the top 10% of performers in your field, and then do whatever it takes to get there. Fortunately, getting to the top is easier than you think. The great majority of people seldom think about personal excellence. And if the thought crosses their minds, they quickly dismiss it and go back to average performance. Most of the people around you are content to do their jobs, for better or for worse, and then go out with their friends or go home and watch television. However, when you begin to make those extra efforts that enable you to excel, you will find that, like a runner going into a sprint, you soon move ahead of the pack of the average performers. Develop the winning edge. One of the most important of all success principles is the winning edge concept. This concept explains success and failure and has been demonstrated over and over. This principle says that small differences in ability can lead to enormous differences in results. It seems that the top people in every field are usually just a little bit better than the average in the critical things that they do. But consistency in being a little bit better in your key skill areas eventually adds up to an enormous difference in results. All you need is to be about 3% better in each of the key result areas of your job to develop the winning edge. This edge enables you to move to the front in the race of life. Once you get a little ahead, you can then maintain and increase this gap by continuous self-improvement. You can continue to get better and better with learning and practice. With this strategy, you will soon emerge in the top 10% or even the top 5% of people in your field. Key result areas. Success in any job requires a minimum level of performance in one or more tasks or functions. These are the key result areas, KRAs, of the position. Key results areas are the tasks that you absolutely, positively have to do well to be successful in your overall job, whatever it is. As it happens, there are seldom more than 5 to 7 key result areas in any job, position, company, or area of responsibility. Your job is to identify the KRAs of your job and then make a plan to improve each one. The reason they are called key result areas is because they are the essential skills necessary for you to do your job completely and well. A weakness in any one of them can hold you back from excellent performance in your overall job. You are successful because of your strength in certain key result areas, but your weakest key result area determines the degree of effectiveness with which you will be able to use all the others. Your weakest key skill area largely determines your income. Identify your key skills. Each job or desired result can be defined in terms of the key skills necessary to achieve it. For example, there are 7 key result areas in selling. A weakness in any one of them can hold you back from selling as much as you can. They are 1. Prospecting, 2. Establishing trust and rapport, 3. Identifying the customer's problem or need, 4. presenting your product or service as the ideal solution to the problem. 5. Answering objections and concerns. 6. Getting agreement to proceed. And 7. Obtaining resales and referrals. If you perform well in all 7 of these areas, you will soon be at the top of your field. If you are poor in any area, your performance in that area will determine your income. In management, there are also 7 key result areas. They are 1. Planning. 2. Organizing. 3. Selecting the right people. 4. Delegating. 5. Supervising. 6. Measuring. And 7. Reporting, both upward and downward. If you are excellent at every key skill except for one, that one weakness alone will hold you back in your career as a manager. There are critical success factors in almost every area of life. For example, 4 critical success factors determine your physical health. They are 1. Proper diet. 2. Proper weight. 3. Proper exercise. And 4. Proper rest. Almost all of your health problems can be traced back to a problem or deficiency in one of these 4 areas. The starting point of personal excellence is for you to identify the key result areas of your job. Define them clearly and write them down. Make a list of the tasks in order that you must perform to get the results expected of you in your job. Evaluate your current performance in each of these key result areas. Where are you strong? Where are you weak? Be honest. Set standards of performance. If you want to lose weight, the first thing you do is weigh yourself. If you want to improve in any area, you first measure how well you are doing in that area today, and then use that as a baseline for improvement. Once you have determined the results that you absolutely, positively have to get to perform at your best in a particular aspect area of your life or work, you then give yourself a score of 1 to 10 in each key result area, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. You must be at a 7 level or above in each area to do your overall job excellently. Wherever you are scoring 7 or below, you must set a goal to improve in that area. Always start your program of personal improvement where you can get the greatest result the fastest. This will invariably be in the key result area where you are the weakest. Identify your lowest scoring KRA and then make a plan to improve in this skill area as quickly as possible. Simultaneously, you develop a plan to gradually improve in each other areas where you are weak. Every step you take toward improving yourself in one of your key result areas will improve your results in your job. The better you get at your job, the more you will like and respect yourself. The more you like and respect yourself, the better you will feel, and the more energy and enthusiasm you will have. You will soon become unstoppable. Personal strategic planning. In the business world of the 20th century, it was generally agreed that corporations should conduct strategic planning regularly. Individuals, though, were encouraged to set personal goals. In the 21st century, however, the situation is different. Today, each individual, just like a company, must engage in a regular process of personal strategic planning. In personal strategic planning, you view yourself as a business organization. With this perspective, you make more detailed, long-range plans for your goals and activities in every part of your life. Today, you must spend far more time thinking about your future than ever before. You must invest more energy and effort in analyzing and planning the steps you need to take to translate your future dreams into present realities. You must manage yourself better than ever before. You have to take complete control over everything that happens to you. Audience participation. Sometimes I ask my audiences, how many people here are self-employed? Usually about 10 to 15% of the audience will raise their hands. I then stop the seminar and ask them again, how many people here are self-employed? And then I wait. Enter. It doesn't take them very long. People look at each other and then back at me and then at each other again. Soon one hand after another begins to go up. Eventually everyone has his or her hands raised. Everyone realizes that they are all self-employed. The biggest mistake that you can make is to think that you never work for anyone else but yourself. The fact is that you are always self-employed, from the time you take your first job until the time you retire. No matter who signs your paycheck, you are working for yourself. You are the president of an entrepreneurial personal services company with one employee, yourself. In the long run, as a result of the things that you do or fail to do, you determine how much you earn. If you want a pay increase, you can go to the nearest mirror and negotiate with your boss. No, you determine your income. People sometimes argue with me about this. They say that the pay structures in their business or industry are determined by factors over which they have no control. But then I point out to them that it was they who decided to go to work in that business or industry, and it is they who decide to stay there. They are in charge. They are on their payroll. If you are not happy with any part of your work, it is up to you to change it. Benjamin Disraeli said, "Never complain and never explain." If there is a part of your work or personal life that you don't like, don't waste your time complaining about it. Instead, take action. As Shakespeare's Hamlet expresses it, take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. Seeing yourself as the president of your own personal services corporation requires that you accept total responsibility for everything you are and everything you ever will be. This is an enormous thought for many people. It is both scary and exhilarating. Wow, just imagine, you are where you are and what you are because you have decided to be there. Everything you accomplish for the rest of your life will be largely determined by the actions that you take or fail to take. You are responsible. You are in charge. You are in control. You are your boss. And there are no limits except the limits that you allow the outside world to place on yourself and your thinking. The aim of strategy. When you begin thinking of yourself as a personal services corporation, you separate yourself from all those people who think they work for someone else. When you take charge of your career, you begin thinking in terms of personal strategic planning. Just like a large business, you begin making plans for the long term. The parallels between corporate planning and personal planning are very similar. The purpose of strategic planning in a business is to achieve the highest return on equity, ROE, invested in the business. All strategic plans and tactics are aimed at reorganizing the resources and activities of the company in such a way that it achieves a higher rate of financial return on its resources than it was achieving before. In its simplest terms, strategic planning is aimed at increasing the ratio of outputs to inputs. All of the management practices popular today, such as restructuring, reorganizing, re-engineering, and reinventing, are aimed at improving the functioning of the organization so that it earns more money. They are aimed at increasing outputs and rates of return on equity, increasing your return on energy. If the return on financial capital is called return on equity, your personal ROE is your return on energy. Personal strategic planning is focused on organizing and reorganizing your life, restructuring and re-engineering your activities, to increase the quality and quantity of rewards you get from the investment of the hours and days of your life in what you do. Let us say, for example, that you have decided that you want to double your income in the next 3 to 5 years. This is a reasonable goal that many people around you are already achieving. It is not that difficult to achieve. Simply put, to double your income, you merely have to double the value of your output relative to your input. You have to double the value of your contribution. Financial results come as the result of performing a function or producing valuable goods and services that someone is willing to pay for. If you want to increase the amount you get out, you have to make a plan to increase the amount you put in, your area of excellence. What is the critical factor that determines the success or failure of any company? It is its competitive advantage, or area of excellence. Every company comes into being and survives because it has a unique capacity to offer the market something better in some way than anything being offered by its competitors. It stays in business as long as it continues to satisfy its customers in a particular area better than anyone else. The competitive advantage or unique selling proposition of a company determines its rate of growth, its level of sales, its profitability, and its survival. Companies without a competitive advantage soon disappear from the marketplace to be replaced by other companies with clear, unmistakable, competitive advantages that customers can and will pay for. You are no different. As the president of a company, you too must develop and maintain a meaningful competitive advantage. You must develop an area of uniqueness. You must be excellent in the work that you do so that you can rise to the top of your field. Your choices and decisions about what your competitive advantage is and will be are the critical determinants of your financial success in your life and career. Succeeding the hard way. Some years ago, a friend of mine went to work for a stock brokerage firm. The recruiting and training program was highly technical, and the sales training was virtually non-existent. When he finally got his brokerage license, he was given the yellow pages and told to begin dialing for dollars, phoning anybody he could get on the other end of the line and pitching them on his products. He soon learned that this was one of the hardest ways in the world to crack the professional sales field and make a living. One day he had a sudden insight that changed his career and eventually made him one of the top financial advisors in the country. He realized that his entire career and everything that happened to him, his family lifestyle, his bank account, and his future would be determined by how good he was on the telephone. So he decided to become outstanding at using the telephone as a prospecting and selling tool. He read every book he could find on effective telephone techniques. He took every course and studied every piece of information on the subject. He became so good at using the telephone that he could recognize 19 different kinds of hesitancy in the voice of the person he was calling. He developed appropriate responses to each one so that he could reassure his prospects and clients that what he was recommending was the right thing for them. Today, he earns more than $5 million per year buying and selling investments for his clients over the phone on straight commission. Fully 99% of his business is done by telephone and now by computer, email, and fax. He seldom meets his clients personally, but on the phone, he is a master communicator. He definitely and specifically identified and developed a competitive advantage that he used to move to the top of his field. What could it be for you? Become a do-it-to-yourself project. Here is an exercise. Complete this sentence. If I could well, I could make all the money I wanted. Your job is to fill in the blank. What one skill, if you developed and did it consistently in an excellent fashion, would have the greatest positive impact on your income? If you could wave a magic wand and be outstanding in any one part of your work, which part of your work would you choose? Whatever your answer, this is the key result area that you need to begin work on right away. All lasting success in your business or career will come as a result of your doing something extremely well, something that others value and are willing to pay for. And anything that anyone else can do excellently, you can learn to do as well. Remember, everyone in the top 10% started in the bottom 10%. Everyone who is doing well today was once doing poorly. All of the people at the top of your field were at one time in some other field altogether. The way to get to the front of the buffet line of life, where all the good things are to be found, is simple. First, get in line. Decide to join the top 10%, no matter how long it takes. Second, stay in line. Once you start moving toward personal excellence, keep learning and practicing until you get there. Here's the good news. The buffet line of life is moving. It never closes. It is open 24 hours per day. Everyone who gets in line and stays in line eventually gets to the front. Nothing can stop you from getting into the top 10% except yourself. You are responsible. Clarify your Competitive advantage. One of the first questions you ask yourself is, what is my competitive advantage? What are you excellent at doing? What is it that you do better than almost anyone else in your business? What unique set of skills do you have that accounts for most of your success to date? Where are you really good? Your second question is, looking at the trends in my industry, what will my competitive advantage be in 3 to 5 years? If things continue on the way they are, and you could project yourself 3 to 5 years into the future and look around, what will you need to be doing excellently at that time? Many people have trouble answering both of these questions. They are not sure what their competitive advantage is today, and as a result, they have no idea what their competitive advantage will be in their future. If you are in this situation, you are in great danger of underachieving and even failing in your career. Your potential, competitive advantage. Here is the next question. What should your competitive advantage be? If you could be outstanding in any one area, what should it be? If you're not sure, go and ask your boss or your coworkers. Ask them, if I was good in any one skill, what one skill would have the greatest positive impact on my results? You usually know the answer to this question as soon as you ask it. If you are in doubt about the one skill that could help you the most, ask for advice and input from others. The people around you, especially your boss, can usually tell you quite quickly the answer to this question. Once you have the answer, you set the development of that skill as your new goal or target to aim at. You change your thinking in a very positive way in that area, and you begin to imagine that you can be outstanding in that one area. You write it down, set a deadline, make a plan, and go to work on improving yourself in that area. In no time at all, you will begin to develop the winning edge in your job that will enable you to move ahead of the crowd. Fire the staff. Some companies today are taking their people through an exercise that can be quite traumatic to their employees. They call everyone together, and then they fire the entire staff. They announce that they are going to be rehiring someone for each job and that each person can reapply for their job as though they were outside contractors presenting a proposal. This proposal for their jobs would include a description of what they intend to do, how they intend to do it, how much they would charge for their work, and how much the company would gain or save by paying them the salaries they are requesting for what they are proposing to do. As you can imagine, many employees are completely baffled when they are confronted with this exercise. The very idea of thinking through their current jobs and describing them in the form of a business proposal, along with a justification for why they should be paid the amount that they are asking, is an overwhelming task. Most people have never thought about their jobs in this way before. Finally, the boss adds one more detail. He tells them that they will each be competing against other people who will also be submitting proposals for the same jobs. Whoever offers the company the best deal or price will get the position. Determine exactly what you do. If you were put into this position and you had to write out a proposal for your job, starting with the most important and valuable things that you do for your company, how would you explain yourself? How would you sell yourself to your current employer? How would make a case for the kind of money you want to earn? What are your core competencies? What special talents and abilities do you have that make you valuable and set you apart from others? What should your core competencies be, or what could they be in the future? What is it that you do in such an excellent fashion that you are worth the kind of money that you want to earn? Your answers to these questions are essential to your success in your career. How good are you? There is a simple way to determine how good you are at what you do. Are you in great demand? If you are very good, people are continually trying to hire you away from your current employment. You receive regular job offers. If you are self-employed, you have more business than you can handle. You get a steady flow of recommendations and referrals from satisfied customers. When you are in demand, you have complete job security. You know that if something happened to your current job, you could walk across the street and get another job tomorrow. You never worry about the ups or downs in the economy because you always have far more opportunities than you can handle in a 24-hour day. Content. When you reach this point, you will know that you are one of the very best in your field. You will feel terrific about yourself. You will have complete control over your future. Do what you love to do. You may be wondering how you go about determining your area of excellence if you don't already have one. If you are already very good at what you do, you should know that with the change taking place so rapidly in your field, within a few years you will probably find yourself in another job, doing something different with a different area of excellence. Whatever got you to where you are today is not enough to keep you there. Here is one of the most important parts of changing your thinking. Successful people do what they love to do. They do their jobs for the art and joy of it. They would do what they were doing even if they weren't being paid for it. Ask yourself this question. What would I choose to work at if I was financially independent and could do anything I wanted? Now, how would you change your life if you won $1 million? The great majority of people, if they won $1 million, would immediately quit their current jobs. If you would quit your current job if you won $1 million, this is a danger signal. It means that you are in great danger of wasting your career and wasting your life. Determine what you enjoy doing. Self-made millionaires almost invariably say that their secret to success was that they found out what they enjoyed doing, and they did it with their whole heart. Most successful people feel that they don't work at all. Some of them say, I haven't worked a day in my life. Their work and their play are intermingled. They don't know where one begins and the other ends. When they are not at work, they think about it and talk about it. And when they are at work, they lose themselves in it. There are more than 22,000 official job categories in the United States alone. Among these 22,000 categories, some subcategories bring the number to easily 100,000 different jobs that you could be doing. And most of the jobs that people will be doing in the 21st century have not even been invented yet. Of the many thousands of jobs that exist, there are numerous jobs at which you could work and earn an excellent living. Your goal must be to select the ideal job for you, the one that gives you the greatest joy, satisfaction, and rewards, and then channel all of your energies into becoming excellent in that one area. Success leaves tracks. The starting point of identifying your special talents and unique abilities is for you to think back to your past. What sorts of activities have given you the greatest results and rewards? When you were in school, what subjects interested you the most? What subjects did you get the best grades in? You will always be best at doing something that fascinates you, that holds your attention, that captures your interest, and that you are naturally attracted toward. One of the tests for whether something is right for you is your desire to learn more about it. You will enjoy reading about it, talking about it, and learning about it. Not only that, but you will naturally admire the people who are the most successful in the field for which you are ideally suited. Go back to your childhood. One way to determine your future is to examine your past. Look back to what you most enjoyed doing when you were between the ages of 7 and 14 years old. At that time, you were completely free to pursue any subject that attracted you. What did you most enjoy doing? If you don't remember, go and ask one of your parents. They will usually remember how you spent your time when you were younger. A participant in one of my seminars told me that this principle applied to him exactly. When he was between the ages of 7 and 14, he loved to build model airplanes. He spent many hours, long into the night, building more and more complex models. Soon he was building model planes with small engines and entering them in contests. As he grew older, he built larger planes, remote-controlled, and flew them in competitions around the country. When he finished high school, he attended university and earned a degree in aeronautical engineering. He now owns 3 companies. In one company, he designs small aircraft. In a second company, he leases and charters aircraft. And he owns a third company that does aircraft maintenance. He told me that he was worth several $1 million, and he felt that he had never done a day's work in his life. He was still doing what he most enjoyed doing when he was a young man, and he was only 35 years old. When your feeling of importance. Dale Carnegie once wrote, "Tell me what gives a person his greatest feeling of importance, and I will tell you his entire philosophy of life." What gives you your greatest feeling of importance? What gives you a heightened sense of self-esteem when you do it successfully? What do you most enjoy doing? So much so that you are drawn back to it continuously. Napoleon Hill once said that one of the great secrets of success is to decide what it is that you most enjoy doing and then find a way to earn a good living at it. Most people get it backward. They do what they feel they have to do so that they can finally acquire the time and money necessary to do what they want to do. Your goal should be to reverse this order. You should do what you enjoy doing from the very beginning. In this way, you will get better and better at doing more and more of the things that give you your greatest feeling of importance. Face the facts. One of the most important parts of changing your thinking is the development of the quality of courage. I will discuss this subject in greater detail later in Chapter 12. For the moment, in terms of doing what you love to do, you need the courage to face the fact that right now, you might not be in the right job, place, or relationship for you. You may be on the wrong path. Most people back into their jobs, their careers, and even their relationships, like backing up their car and hitting something, and then getting out to see what it was. They do not have clear goals, so they accept whatever happens to them. They take the job that is offered to them at the time they were starting work or making the transition from one job to another. They do the work that is assigned to them. They allow their boss to determine their career path. Their entire work lives soon become organized around the expectations of the people who sign their paychecks. If they are not careful, years will go by and they will completely lose sight of the child in them who started in life with hopes and dreams, entering a world of untapped possibilities and potentialities. Be true to yourself. Joseph Campbell, the late professor of mythology, told a story on the Bill Moyers special television show some years ago. It took place in a small local restaurant that he patronized with his wife. One day, another couple, along with their young son, came in and sat down for dinner at a nearby table. Halfway through the meal, the boy spoke up and said that he didn't like his dinner and he wasn't going to eat it. The father became extremely angry and insisted that he eat it whether he liked it or not. The boy refused and said to his father, "But I don't want to eat it." At this, the father blew up and shouted, "You don't want to? What does that have to do with anything? I never did anything I wanted to do in my whole life." Campbell went on to point out that many people are in that same situation. Many people feel that they have lived their whole lives doing things that other people wanted them to do because they never dared to do just what they wanted. Campbell then said that the key to success and happiness in life was to follow your bliss. It was to do what you most love to do. It was to look over the landscape of your life and determine those activities that you enjoyed doing more than anything else, the things that you would do if you had no limitations, and then to build your life around those activities. Be prepared to walk away. Many of the happiest men and women in our society today are those who, at a certain point, got up and walked away from a situation that they finally realized was not making them happy or fulfilled. They dared to decide that they were going to do what they loved to do, rather than what they felt they had to do. They looked deep within themselves and honestly assessed their natural talents and abilities. This often changed their whole lives. Listen to others. Some years ago, I began thinking in earnest about what it was that I wanted to do. My current job was coming to an end, and the prospects for the future, because of the economy, were not very encouraging. Meanwhile, although I had a very good idea of what I wanted to do, I wasn't sure. At this point, I suddenly asked a friend of mine what he thought I would be good at doing. He replied without a moment's hesitation, "You'd be excellent at teaching and giving seminars." That turned out to be exactly what I had been thinking. but I was nervous about directing my whole career into a completely unknown field. My friend's comment made me realize that often the people around you can see clearly what you should be doing, even if you can't see it yourself. If you are at all unsure about your area of natural talent and ability, ask someone who knows you well what he or she thinks your ideal line of work would be. The people who know you and care about you will often give you ideas and insights that change your whole life. Often these insights will reveal to you your heart's desire. Your heart's desire. Your heart desires that one special thing that you were put on this earth to do. No one else can do it in the same way that you can. It is something that may have been calling to you for many years, like the sound of distant music. It is something that has interested you and attracted you since you were young. Perhaps you have never told anyone about it. Perhaps deep in your heart, you were afraid of the enormous changes you would have to make to pursue your heart's desire. But the fact is that you will never be truly happy or satisfied until you let yourself go and throw your whole heart into whatever it is. Eric Butterworth wrote in his book, Discover the Power Within You. Harper Row, 1968. You are not what you are what you can be. Imagine, you are not what you are, but rather you are what you can be when you discover and develop your natural talents and abilities to the full. Be honest with yourself. One of the marks of personal leadership is that you see yourself as you are. You are completely honest. You recognize and accept that you are completely responsible, the president of your own personal services corporation. You accept that excellent rewards come only from excellent performance in your chosen field. You view yourself strategically as if you were looking at someone else. You plan every part of your life, knowing that no one is going to do it for you. Especially, you establish your program for personal and professional improvement to ensure that you become one of the very best people in your field. Think and plan strategically. Several concepts in personal strategic planning can improve your results and change your life. As in everything, these are ways of thinking that lead to ways of acting more effectively. Draw a line. The first concept is what I call zero-based thinking. Call a timeout in your life and work. Draw a line under all your current activities. Now imagine that you are starting over. Ask yourself, is there anything in my life that, knowing what I now know, I would not get into or start up again today if I had it to do over? This is one of the most important questions you will ever ask and answer. You can apply it on a go-forward basis to each part of your life. Often the biggest problem in personal strategic planning is you're attempting to make something work that you wouldn't even get into in the first place if you had to do it over again. Often when I consult with companies, they ask me for advice on how to increase sales of a particular product or service. I always ask them, knowing what you now know, would you introduce this product or service again today if you had it to do over? They often tell me that, knowing what they now know, they would never have brought it out in the first place. My advice to them is always the same. Kill it. One of the smartest things a company can do with a part of the business that is not working and which has no future is to discontinue it as quickly as possible. This applies to products, services, processes, methods of sale or advertising, investments, or any other area of activity that consumes time, money, or emotional energy. Hold your own feet to the fire. If there is anything in your life or your work that you wouldn't get into today, knowing what you now know, it is an excellent candidate for creative abandonment, for being discontinued altogether. Is there any relationship in your life, personal or business, that knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get into today if you had it to do over? If there is, your next question is, how do I get out of this relationship and how fast? Think about your business and your career. Is there anything in your work life that you wouldn't get into again today, knowing what you now know? Is there any business process, procedure, activity, or expense that you wouldn't start again today if you had it to do over? Finally, think about your investments, not only of money, but also of time or emotion. Is there any part of your life that is dragging you down, causing you tension or stress that you wouldn't get into again today if you were starting over? Sometimes the fastest way to change your thinking in your life is simply to question everything you are doing today that is making you unhappy. If it is not working, abandon it and do something else. Your most valuable asset. Your most valuable asset is your time. It is also your scarcest resource. You have a limited amount of time, and once it is gone forever. Time is essential to accomplishment. Time is perishable. You cannot get more of it, no matter what you do. It can be said that the quality of your life is determined by the way you spend this precious resource. Results and rewards, however you define them for yourself, are everything. Your ability to achieve the health, happiness, and prosperity you desire is the measure of your effectiveness as a human being. Your job is to use your minutes and hours more effectively to ensure that you are achieving the greatest quantity and quality of the things you want in exchange for the time you invest. Trading your time. Everything in life is a trade of some kind. Overall, you trade your time for the results and rewards you want. You can tell what kind of a trader you are by looking around you and evaluating your current situation. Are you satisfied with the results of your trades in life so far? Some people trade their time for $25,000 per year. Some people trade the same amount of time for $250,000 per year, even though they may be of similar age and intelligence and have similar educations and backgrounds. But one of them earns 10 times what the other earns. Why is this? In the simplest of terms, the one earning more thinks and acts differently from the one earning less. One person is a better trader than the other. One person has better information, continually upgrades his skills, starts earlier, works harder, and stays later. A good trader quickly develops the winning edge and begins to pull ahead of the pack. Soon he is working and earning at a far higher level than the people he started with. This must be your goal as well. Your time is limited. You cannot save time. You can only spend it differently. Every part of your life today shows the results of how you have spent your time in the past. If you want to have a different future, you have to spend your time differently in the present. You have to change your thinking about yourself and how you use your time to get the things you want in life. Well, time in a way is like money. It can be either spent or invested. If you spend time or money, it is gone forever. You can never get it back. But if you invest your time or money wisely, you will get a greater return in the future. Personal strategic planning and thinking give you the tools to ensure that you achieve the highest return on time invested, ROTI. Put another way, it enables you to get the highest return on life. Everything you do that requires your time represents a choice. The choice is to use your time wisely or not. However you choose, the time will be gone forever. If you spend your time on one activity, you will no longer have that same quantity of time available to spend or invest in another activity. Your choices about how you use your time largely determine the quality of your life, both today and in the future. You must be extremely jealous of your time. You must be adamant about not spending your time on activities of low value. You must downsize, outsource, and eliminate all activities that no longer represent the highest and best use of your time if you want to get the highest return on energy in your life and career. Zero-based thinking will help you to make better choices. It is a key thinking tool that can change your life. The Pareto Principle. Another important strategic planning concept is the 80-20 rule. The Pareto Principle, which Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto wrote about in 1895 in Switzerland. This rule says that 80% of your results will come from 20% of your activities. If you make a list of 10 tasks that you have to do in the coming day, 2 of those items will be worth more than the other 8 items put together. But the 20% of activities that account for most of the value in your work are invariably the most challenging tasks. The 80% of activities that account for only 20% of your results are usually fun and easy. Being human, you have a natural tendency to do the easy things, even though they are not particularly valuable or important. To get the most done and the greatest results from every minute invested, you must resist the temptation to clear up small things first. You must discipline yourself to keep your energies focused on the one or two things that you can do that are more important and valuable than anything else. It's marketing yourself strategically. As the president of your own personal services corporation, you must consider the four strategic variables in marketing yourself and your services. Your effectiveness in each of these four areas will determine your income and your future. They are 1. Specialization, 2. Differentiation, 3. Segmentation, and 4. Concentration. These four activities are central to every business and the success of every product or service offered by any business anywhere. All business growth and profitability are the result of performing well in each of these areas. Problems with sales and profitability are the result of a weakness in one or more of these areas. Each of them applies to you in your career as well. So, specialize in your field. Specialization means that you decide exactly what it is that you are going to do and do well in your field. Successful people in every field specialize rather than generalize. They focus their time and talents rather than trying to do too many things. They work to develop a reputation for being very, very good in a specific area. They don't try to be all things to all people or jacks of all trades. A successful business may specialize in a particular type of customer or a specific market. It may specialize in a particular product or service for that type of customer. A successful salesperson will specialize in selling a particular product or service to a particular type of customer. A successful person in any field will spend more and more time doing fewer and fewer things that are of higher and higher value in a specific area. What is your area of specialization today? What will it be in the future? What should it be if you want to move to the top of your field? What could it be if you were to stand back and imagine that you have no limitations and that you could be excellent at any skill or in any market that you desired? Set yourself apart. The second strategic variable in your business or career is differentiation. This is the key factor that determines the success of most sales, marketing, and business growth. This is the primary determinant of success in your career. Differentiation is defined as the way that you separate yourself from everyone else in your field who is offering something similar. Your area of differentiation is, in reality, your area of excellence, your area of uniqueness, your unique selling proposition. It is what gives you a competitive advantage over others in your industry. The key question. Imagine if a very important prospective customer were to ask you, what is it about your product or service that is different, better, and superior to any other similar product or service offered by any other company in today's market? How would you answer? If you had to explain how and why your product or service is superior to that of your competitors, what would you say? Many salespeople and even business owners are not sure about the answer to this question. But you must be clear about your competitive advantage if you want to make more sales in an increasingly competitive market. As an individual doing personal strategic planning for your career, you must ask this question of yourself. What unique skills do you have that make you superior to anyone else offering to do the same job that you are doing? What skills would it be useful for you to have? If you are not currently excellent in your field, what steps do you need to take, beginning immediately, to get yourself to the point where you stand out from everyone else? Identify your ideal customers. The third strategic area in business is that of segmentation. This requires that you divide your markets and customers into segments. You do this by identifying those customers who can most benefit from your area of specialization and your competitive advantage within that area. In segmentation, you identify your ideal customers. Who are they? Where are they? What do they have in common? What are their ages, incomes, education levels, backgrounds, positions, experiences, and so on. Today, more and more marketing is focused on niches and micro-niches. Sales and marketing are increasingly personal and individual, aimed at tightly defined groups of prospective customers with special qualities and characteristics. Who are your ideal customers? Concentrate your energies. The fourth strategic variable, perhaps the most important of all in sales and marketing, is the principle of concentration. This is your ability to focus all of your energies and resources on those specific customers or markets where you have the greatest chance of success in the shortest period. Your ability to concentrate single-mindedly on your highest value opportunities will do more to increase your return on energy than any other factor. Concentration is a key success principle in every field. Success versus failure. Dun Bradstreet has been tracking the results of successful and unsuccessful businesses for more than 50 years. Not long ago, it put all of its research on failed businesses into a computer. The data showed that businesses fail because of low sales. Businesses succeed because of high sales. Everything else is commentary. As the president of your own company, engaged in personal strategic planning for your career, your job is to ensure the highest level of sales of your services that you can achieve. This requires that you specialize, differentiate, segment, and concentrate. As the president of your own life and career, you must become excellent at doing one or two things that the market will pay the most for. You must then become continually better in those one or two areas. You are extraordinary. The fact is that you are extraordinary. You are born with unique talents and abilities that make you completely different from all other human beings who have ever existed. The odds of there being two people just like you are more than 50 billion to 1. It will never happen. No one has the unique and remarkable combination of experiences, ideas, thoughts, feelings, education, and imagination that you do. You have within you right now the ability to be, have, or do virtually anything you can imagine. You are very much like Michelangelo's block of marble, just lying there. You are like an incredible masterpiece just waiting to emerge. Great success and happiness come when you identify your natural abilities and then concentrate on developing along the lines of your inborn talents. It is almost as though you are engineered for success in a specific way. And if you can find the area for which you were specifically designed, you will achieve more in a few years than most people achieve in a lifetime. Leave nothing to chance. You leave nothing to chance. You don't hope for miracles or wish for a lucky break. You recognize that if it's to be, it's up to you. Since you know you are going to have to spend the rest of your life working at something, you decide in advance that you will do what you love to do. You will become everything you are capable of becoming by developing your unique talents and abilities, wherever they lead. You will work only at something you enjoy, with people you enjoy, doing work that makes a difference in the world. You set high standards for yourself. You think positively and constructively about your career and your future. You recognize that anything that anyone else has done, you can do as well. Once you have decided what it is you want to do, you throw your whole heart into doing it excellently. And as a result, you become unstoppable. Action exercises. What is it that you love to do? What activity gives you your greatest feeling of importance? If you could be excellent at any one task or skill, what would it be? Set it as a goal and begin work on that skill immediately. What are the key result areas of your job? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you in each area? What one skill, if you developed and utilized it excellently, would have the greatest positive impact on your life? What is your area of excellence, your unique selling proposition, in the very best thing you do in your work? If you could do only one thing all day long, what one task or activity would contribute the greatest value to your company and your work? Identify your heart's desire, The one thing that you were put on this earth to do. If you could accomplish one great thing in your lifetime, what would it be?